Hi everyone. After watching Pengu's video about the current problems with Rainbow Six Siege, I wanted to make a similar one in which I would like to express my opinion about what I think are the current major problems with the game. But instead of only doing that, I wanted to actually show you some examples of other games that had these problems, and I wanted to show you how they tackled these problems and how they solved them. I will mainly focus on CSGO as an example, but that's only because I think it contains solutions to every single problem that I'm going to show you during this video. Before I start, I would actually like to present myself in terms of my background with competitive shooters. So I started playing CSGO mainly around 5 or 6 years ago. I currently have about 2,500 hours on multiple accounts, and I started playing Siege at the end of 2018 in December. I started playing Siege on my PlayStation 4 back then, but then I transitioned to PC around September 2019, and since then Siege has become my main game, let's say my main FPS game, but I still play some CSGO from time to time. I did play a lot of CSGO back in the day, but nowadays Siege has become my main game. I am currently sitting at a Plat 2 level, and I only have around 300 hours, so compared to Pengu's 12,000, I don't have a lot of skill, let's say. But what you're gonna see in this video, the problems that I'm gonna show you, are more common sense problems that even if you are a silver 1, you could actually see that the game has these problems. So stick around if you wanna hear me out. I will divide the video into 7 chapters, each chapter representing one of the problems with the game right now. Number 1 problem: cosmetics and the map color palette. This is how I've customized Doc to look like for me, and I can only imagine an opponent when seeing me that he wouldn't recognize me, and it's fairly understandable. Well, look at how many headgears he has available with and how many different colors they have. You could easily blend in with the background of the map, and that's why, again, as I've said, the map color palette is an actual problem. Also, look at how many uniforms he has. He has uniforms of different colors that again can blend in with the map easily. This is a big problem, especially for people that suffer from color blindness or similar issues. For those who know, CSGO actually had this problem last year when they released operator skins, basically uniforms for the terrorists or counter-terrorists. The uniforms actually did blend in with the background, and it made it really hard for you to see the enemy. But they quickly changed it. They quickly changed the uniforms and how they looked like. And now it's all good, I guess. Maybe some people still have problems, but overall, it's in a good shape. And as an example, at least at my current level in CSGO, this is how most of the people look like. So the problem in Siege with cosmetics basically comes down to this. You could have a Doc on the enemy team for 2 rounds straight. The first time, he's gonna look just like I've shown you earlier. He's gonna have a red uniform with a Mad Doctor headgear. But the second time, he's gonna use the default skin. There isn't really a clear distinction between an attacker and a defender. In CSGO, even though you have different operator skins, they're consistent to the factions. A terrorist will never look like a counter-terrorist. And because I've talked about how different operators, when using different cosmetics, blend in with the background of the maps, it brings me to the second point, which is number 2, the map clutter. This game really needs an operation called, I don't know, Operation Clean House or Operation Decluttering, because it's actually insane how even on the reworked maps, they are still pushing objects laying around on desks or on the walls that have no meaningful purpose to the context of the map. What value does this painting bring to the map? And why are these desks full of monitors, PCs, lamps, so on and so forth? I honestly could figure it out that this is an office based on the desks and maybe that chair in the middle. Why are those small sandbags and boxes placed there that could potentially, if not destroyed, block the line of sight towards the construction door? Why is there so much cash on the desk? I mean, I could figure it out that this is the cash room based on the cash on the floor. You don't need to fill the room with cash objects just for me to figure it out that this is indeed the cash room. Just give us only one small object on such an unimportant place that emphasizes the fact that this is the cash room, just like the cash on the floor, and that's it. And again, this cash on the desk could potentially destroy a line of sight towards the construction door. I'm not an expert or anything like that, but this is consistent across the maps of the game. And this ties in with the first problem, the map color palette. There are way too many objects in the rooms. Instead of having one room with a blue color, you have a blue room with white objects, yellow objects, black objects, so on and so forth. And it's quite easily for an operator when having all of those cosmetics to blend in with certain objects. Number 3. The background sound on different maps. Please, I would like for you to have a listen. This is how CSGO does it. As you've noticed, that music was only played in the spawn, in the terrorist spawn. When walking outside, you can hear only the background noise, which, trust me, is only noticeable when playing in this condition. You alone on an empty server. When playing an actual game of CSGO, you don't hear any of this, because of the constant focus on the footsteps and the voice chat and everything else going on the map. I hope you've noticed how all the sounds still remain in the theme of the map while not being distracting. Number 4. A training mode. Now, CSGO may not have a direct training mode in the main menu, but you can spawn yourself on an empty map in an empty lobby, let's say, and using the developer console, you can give yourself infinite ammo, infinite grenades, no clip, god mode, so on and so forth, even as far as showing the grenade trajectory and the bullet impacts. This is not only useful for you as an individual to practice different strats, but for teams as well. They could easily see what could work and what couldn't. You can even place bots at the press of a button, so you can understand why the community would benefit from something like this. Number 5. Deathmatch and other game modes. These are the current game modes that CSGO supports. Out of all of these, I think that the Deathmatch playlist is the most important one. You might say that we already have Terrorist Hunt in Siege, but the thing is that Terrorist Hunt is against bots, normal bots, while Deathmatch is against actual human beings. They react and they act as normal human beings, so that's the key component, that's the big difference. You not only practice your aim, you practice your movement as well, you practice your map awareness, and so much more. Number 6. A replay system. Pengu said in his video that a replay system wouldn't be that beneficial for the community. Maybe only a couple of people would benefit from it, maybe the pro players themselves. I don't really know. But what I know is that I strongly disagree with his opinion. A replay system would benefit the community greatly. Not only you can watch your past games and see how you've done, you can actually look at the different perspectives from the opponent team. You can see how a player killed you, or you could actually see how they were running a certain strat. Not only that, but the way CSGO implemented this whole replay system is that you can actually watch full tournaments inside the game. You don't have to go on Twitch or YouTube to watch a certain stream. You can actually watch the tournaments directly in game. And what's nice about this is that you can watch the games at your settings. So you can play on high settings, high resolution, and you're gonna have a really good quality of the games. Or you can play at your settings. Let's say you play 4x3 with low settings, you're gonna get that. But not only that, the casters and the camera, the way it moves and so on and so forth, it's implemented in the system. So it's just like watching a stream, but at your own settings, your own good settings. And actually, the replay system brings me to my final point. Number 7, the cheaters. In order for you to play against more legitimate players, you need to have a Prime status account. What that means, just like it says on the screen, you need to be either a rank 21 or level 21, or you can purchase a CSGO Prime status upgrade. As another example of this sort, actually Warzone, the new game mode in Modern Warfare, actually requires you now to link a valid phone number to your account in order to play. That's only to counter the cheaters. And this is where the replay system comes into play. There is this thing in CSGO called Overwatch, which, like it says, allows the CSGO community to regulate itself by providing a method for qualified and experienced members of the community to review reports of disruptive behavior, determine whether the reports are valid, and apply bans if appropriate. At the end of the whole process, if you are right and you're accurate with your response, you can earn additional XP into leveling up. Now, let's actually see how this works. The person is clearly aimbotting and most probably wall hacking as well. So what we have to do right now is just wait it out, and at the end we are gonna be given the chance to select if this person was actually wall hacking or aimbotting or something else as well. You can actually access the in-game video editor, let's call it this way, and you can actually fast forward and to just skip to the end of the whole case, because actually sometimes there's just no point in wasting your time. You can just skip to the end because you could clearly see the aimbotting and the wall hacking as well. At the end of the case, we are given this Overwatch resolution where we have to select if the person had any aim assistance or vision assistance, so on and so forth. It's quite easy to use and it's self-explanatory. It also gives you different definitions and examples for you to understand how all of this works. So this is what I'm trying to say. Instead of trying to fight against the cheaters with more intrusive anti-cheat tools like BattlEye or nowadays Valorant's Vanguard and so on and so forth, I guess that there are many other anti-cheat tools like these. Instead of doing that, we can actually make their lives harder and way more difficult, like having to attach a valid phone number to your account, having a good replay system, and trying to just mimic what Overwatch is doing in CSGO. And I'm sure that there are other methods like these that work exactly the same. So in conclusion, I don't think that Siege is necessarily a bad game. Not at all. I think it's a great game, but it just lacks these features that I've mentioned in the video. I do hope that at one point Siege will have all of these, and all of the problems, bugs, and everything else will be fixed, but until then we can only hope. Although not a lot of people still have faith in Ubisoft, I do, and it's mainly because Ubisoft is a really big company, and the dev team, I think, is really dedicated to the game. Some might also say that instead of fixing all of these problems, they are only focusing on generating more and more money. And you can clearly see that by all of these events, the Grand Larceny right now, and whatever came before that. While there may be some truth behind this, I also think that having all of these events will bring in more and more people, which will eventually buy a new skin, or buy a booster, or buy anything else, which will make the game generate more and more money. Ubisoft's executives at one point, if they didn't already do that, they will realize the fact that Rainbow Six Siege is their actual main game. It's not Assassin's Creed or anything else they have on the table. It's actually Rainbow Six Siege. And probably only then the actual development team will have full support from the executives to do what's necessary to fix the game. Until then, it's probably gonna be more and more events, more and more skins, and things like these, and only a handful amount of bug fixing or any major problem fixing. But like I've said, I've got my hopes up high, and I do think that Siege at one point will become a very, very good game that everyone will appreciate. But anyway, that's all for me for today. I hope you liked the video, and I'll see you on the next one.